Welcome to our lantern making tutorial. My name is Paul and I'm going to guide you step by step on an animal lantern making journey. This year's lantern parade has been replaced with a lantern trail, brightly coloured lanterns around the town centre and at Norden Farm. We would like you to be part of this by putting your illuminated lantern in your window. Let's light up the community. The trail will run from Saturday the 5th of December to Saturday the 12th of December. Keep an eye out on Norden Farm's socials for a list of lantern locations. In this video I'm going to show you how to make an owl lantern. If you're part of a school group or haven't made a lantern before, it's a relatively easy animal to make. At the end of the video I'm going to cover some of the decorating techniques you might use to create some of the other animals. Okay, so we're ready to make our lantern. To start with, you're just going to need your pieces of willow and your roll of masking tape. I'm going to start by tearing off some pieces of masking tape, so when I get to making the lantern, I've got them where I need them. So maybe stick them to the table. Okay? You'll need about 12 pieces Okay, to begin with, you need to take one of the pieces of willow. It's a brilliant natural material and it's very flexible. If you're gentle with it, it shouldn't snap. So we're going to bring the top pieces, the two ends together, like so. And we're going to join them together with a piece of masking tape. So hold the two ends of your willow together. Take a piece of masking tape and attach it to one of the sticks first, so it's on like that. And then it's much easier to take the masking tape and wrap it underneath, around the joint, as far as it will go, and then it's very important to squish it down. Okay, so you have your balloon-shaped frame, and you're going to make two more of these to make your lantern. Okay, so what we have here are three balloon-shaped frames. We're going to take two of them and join them together to begin with. We're going to join them together at the pointy end, so put one inside the other, like so. Take a piece of masking tape, attach it to the top of the frame and weave it in and out around that joint. Make sure you squish it down at the end. Take your third balloon shape and attach that at the top as well. For the moment, don't worry about what's happening down here. Right, so you're going to turn the lantern upside down, like so. And take a bit of time to adjust your willow frames until they are evenly spaced at the end. So if I hold it at the end, maybe you can see that you want to have that point in the middle. When you're happy with them and they're spaced out, take a piece of masking tape and wrap it around that central joint. Okay, so we're getting there. We have our balloon whisk shaped lantern, and what we're going to do now to make it stronger is to put a circle around this part here. So you'll need to take another one of your pieces of willow, and to make a circle the best way is to rest it on your tummy and bring the two ends across each other like so. Hope you can see that. And now you can adjust that the size of the circle by pulling the two ends larger or smaller. So what we need to do is fit snugly on here. So I'm going to hold it here and hope it's going to be about the right size. Measure it on. Now that's not bad, that's quite a good fit. But we're going to put the circle inside, so I'm going to adjust it ever so slightly smaller. And now I'm going to stick down the ends with a piece of masking tape. Give it a little bit of a squish. A bit more masking tape there, just to hold it there. So, anytime you think you need another piece of masking tape, use one. Don't do it just how I've done it if it's not working. So, you're going to fit your circle inside the willow frame, slot it in at the widest point of your lantern, which is here. Take a piece of masking tape and join it onto one of the sticks first. Once you've done that, then it's easier to turn it round and see if it needs straightening up, which it does. So push it down slightly and go around and stick masking tape on all the points where the frame touches the circle. Okay, so we've got our lantern frame ready. Now we need to talk about string theory. So I've got my piece of string. For our owl, we're going to attach the string to the centre point at the top of the head. But if you're making an animal head shape, or a mouse, or some other creature, you might want to tie the string here, at this balance point, or even at the other end. But for now, we're going to tie it into this central point of the head. Just do a quick loop round. And then your lantern will be easy to hang up to dry when you've covered it in wet tissue paper, which is coming up next. You're going to need a pair of scissors for this part, and take the large sheets of tissue paper, fold them in half, through, and then fold them the other way into quarters, and you're going to cut that up so you end up with 8 pieces of tissue paper ready for decorating. Before we start gluing, it's probably a good idea to make our decorations. So I'm going to show you how to make the decorations for the owl first. Take your piece of black sugar paper. If you fold it in half, then when you make the eyes, you'll have 2 exactly the same. So I'm going to use the inside piece of the roll of masking tape. Put it on your paper near the edge, draw around the inside with a pencil. And now we're going to cut that circle out. And then, to make this ring shape, fold the paper in half, and then we're going to cut around the inside of the edge. Two rings, and for the centre of the eye, cut out a small half circle, like so. So when you open them out, 2 dots, and 2 rings for your eyes. For the beak, we're going to need a triangle shape. If you've still got the paper folded in half, just draw a line down the side, cut it out, and I think that when you're sticking onto the owl, it'll be nice if it's already slightly folded, so it's more realistic. I've drawn this wing shape on one of the white pieces of paper. Now, while you have it here, if you have indelible pens, such as Sharpies, you could draw this with black, but I'm going to draw it with pencil because you might not have pens. But draw it nice and strong so that it will show up. Bearing in mind that our lanterns are going to have a little light inside that will shine through, and shining through this thicker paper, this bit won't show up as well unless you draw it nice and strong. So here we are, so lots of nice feathers for our wing. Now do that side. And now I'm going to cut it out.
That becomes a circus.
Big wings! So I've got my 2 wings, my eyes, my beak, and I've got a scrap of leftover black sugar paper. So you want to keep this for the end. So once you put the glue on and the tissue paper, then you can add some of these extra decorations that I haven't shown how to make here, but you might want to design your own one. Right, so before we get the glue out and make a mess, we're going to cover the table. I'm just going to cover an area I need with a plastic sheet. You could use a bin bag or any sheet of plastic, but you want to stick it to the table so that it doesn't move around when you're putting the glue on. If you're working as a group, now's a good time to take a time out while you set up ready for the decorating and the gluing stage. So we're going to mix up the glue here. Take your bottle of PVA. Now what I'm going to do is unscrew the lid and take it off. And we're going to put the whole thing into a bowl. We're going to mix our glue half and half. So fill the bottle up with some water. Put the lid back on, just in case, and give it a good shake. Now, empty half the water into the glue and mix it with your sponge. We're going to start gluing. Get your nice sponge and wipe some glue onto the table. Just do an area that's big enough for the white piece of paper that you're going to use. Lay the paper into the glue and then smooth it down into the glue with a wet sponge. This way the paper is completely glued. Now, pick it up by two corners and lay it straight onto the lantern, like that. Where it comes to an edge, straighten it out. And you can tuck one piece in to secure it onto the lantern frame. Now, you're just going to repeat that process about 5 more times to get the whole lantern covered. Each time, you're going to overlap the paper onto the previous layer, so you get a completely sealed in lantern. So, you've got your lantern completely covered in tissue paper. Have a little look around, make sure there are no holes in it, because it spoils the effect if you see little chinks of the light coming through. If there's anywhere it's just sticking up a little bit, use your damp sponge rather than your sticky fingers to smooth down the edges. And now we're going to do our decorations onto the lantern. So, have a little look at it, try and pick out a more symmetrical side, that looks nice. So we're going to put our owl decorations onto this side. You need to put the paper onto the table and, again, give it plenty of glue. Especially with this thicker paper, it takes a little bit longer to absorb the glue in. So I'll give it a little bit longer, pat it with the sponge, lay it onto your lantern. And I'm going to do them symmetrically so it helps. Okay, so we want to attach our wings onto the side of our owl, but don't put glue all over the wing. Just put it around the top part of the shoulder of the wing, as it were. And that way you can put a little bit of a crease in it and think, where is it going to show up the best from? Okay, like so. And I'm just going to measure that on the other side. Okay, so we completely decorated our owl. He's looking very splendid. So he needs to hang up somewhere to dry now. So you've got your piece of string, tie a little knot in the end, and hang him somewhere up to dry. Our owl is now dry, and my last stage is to put a little light inside it. The little light has a pull at the top which turns the light on and off by pushing it in. Hang that over your string, and you need to make a little hole in the top of his head somewhere, pop it inside, and now Mr. Owl will light up. You could draw and decorate your paper before you put it on. Also, you could use a range of coloured papers or tissue papers. Okay, so if you're making something other than an owl, I'm going to show you, for instance, a fox. You're going to need to make ears and eyes and nose parts differently. So, that's a piece I've cut out for the nose, and I've cut a couple of sneaky looking eyes, and for the ears, I've just simply tacked them on. But when you're making the ears, you want to allow an extra space for a tab. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So I've folded my paper in half. I should probably draw an ear shape. So to stick them on, you need to fold a tab across the bottom, and you're going to just put glue, not too much, onto that bottom area so that you can stick it onto your fox's head. So, sticking the decorations on, you're just going to use a little bit of the glue. You can even use your finger. But you need to make sure that the black sugar paper absorbs enough glue before you stick it on, otherwise it might peel off. So let's just pop that on there. And a little bit on the eye. You might want to have a look online at some pictures or in a book to find a picture to help you get the positions of the eyes just right. Okay, so you could also use pens and pencils to decorate your fox. Some of the other techniques you could use is to feather your papers or tissue papers. If you have some coloured paper at home, and I'm going to mix you a yellow one for making a chick, what you could do is just cut very fine, thin cuts along the edge of a piece of material. So, now you have a marvellous lantern. We'd love to see your illuminated masterpieces too. You could hold your own mini parade at home or in the garden. Please send your photos and videos to robin.bunyan@nordenfarm.org, and we will include them in our Lantern Trail short film. Thank you.